Hello, friends from the comic and manga world. My name is Hector,
And my name is G.
and we are here to talk to you about our picks for the September 18th FOC that is coming up. G and I work for Penguin Random House. We manage sales into the direct market around the world. So, titles that we talk about in these videos are from the publishers that we represent into that market. Also note that we're on social media at PRH International Comics. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, on X Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Feel free to leave us comments, let us know what you like, and let us know if you want to see something else other than what we present. So, without further ado, we're going to flip and go to our first pick.
So this one is my pick. I did talk about this before, but I did want to remind you all that it's going to be appearing on this FOC. This is A Stepmother's Marchen. This is volume 1. The author is Spice&Kitty, illustrated by ORKA. Fantastic names.
Yes, definitely.
This originally a webtoon, so this is going to be full colored. And this one, it's about a young noblewoman who you'll see in the front cover, who married at a very young age when she's a teenager to her husband, who is much older, which tended to happen back then. And she's so young in the sense where her stepchildren are like almost like similar to age to the point where they could pretty much be siblings. I mentioned that because when her husband does die, she is left with the money and all of that, and she doesn't have a good relationship with her stepchildren, and that's part of the reason why. Not only that, there are like other nobles who are conspiring against her because of her position. And overall, she's in a really bad place. Like life sucks. And then, as happens in stories, something changes and she wakes up or dies and wakes up and she's back into the past, actually on the day of her husband's funeral. And so it's basically that's the point in which things kind of like went down the first time. So now that she's back in the past, she has the ability to like change and rewrite her future to hopefully have a fairy tale ending. And so this is what the story is. It's really fun. You should definitely pick it up. And yeah.
Very, very cool.
Mhm.
Next up is my first cover pick is Dark Spaces Dungeon #1. This is Variant B by Dustin Nguyen. Dark Spaces Dungeon. This is the new installment, the new miniseries from the Dark Spaces presented by Scott Snyder, which sometimes, like this one, is written by Scott Snyder, but sometimes he picks or invites other writers or other creative teams to do stories. And we've done a few of the, I mean, IDW has come up with a few of these already. They're all amazing, very cool. They're all like horror or suspense or thriller stories. And they take in a sort of dark space, right? In this case, I'm not gonna go through the whole story. It's basically this family to move that moves to the woods, and the father family finds this the dungeon with a sign that says "Tell no one" in the front, and obviously the father and the family have to deal with some mystery horrors and things that and the father wants to protect his family, obviously. So, but this I'm gonna concentrate more on the cover. It's by Dustin Nguyen, which both you and I really love his art. And he is this. I love that this is such a very beautiful and so very scary looking cover. I love that the concept of the dark space of a dungeon is very clear on this. I love how the contrast of the snow and the darkness of the dungeon and the person or creature coming out, almost like Samira from The Ring. And and it also has the beauty, like I said, of the snow, but also the woods. And it is such a beautiful contrast, and he does, Dustin does a beautiful job with these like watercolor looking covers. And I'm so amazed that he was able to do this with such a limited color palette too. Um, Everything looks amazing and scary. I love it. So next up, sorry, here we go.
So next up we have Dark Spaces Dungeon issue number 1, but this is like a 1 in 100 like ratio variant, and this is by Sweeney Boo. At least the cover art is by Sweeney. I really like this cover because it really hones back on the premise of the story, in which like everything on the surface, like you see these like normal objects, like a stuffed animal, frog, octopus thing, and then you have like a mirror and like things like everyday objects that you'll see in a room. So everything in the surface seems like it would be normal, but then you have the shattered mirror, the happy faces like cracked, blood splattered. So there's like there's things that are happening that is underneath the surface. And I think it's very well portrayed in a cover like this. So this is why I picked. I like this cover. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, very very sweet and scary at the same time.
Mhm.
Next is my pick, and this is the video of the Scots. This time is a book by Scott Brian Wilson, and the arts are by Max Allen Fuchs, who's also the who does the cover, and this is Killmore #2, cover A, and also the variant retail incentive 1 in 25 with an alternate art is which is the first thing I like, because it's not just, how we usually have a trade dress and then we have a virgin version with no trade dress on it. But in this case, it's no trade dress plus it's a variant art. And I love how Max Allen worked this amazingly. You really want to get these two covers because you have the face of this person that is obviously horrified about what's about to happen, and then on the next one you have him sort of covered in flies, I guess, some kind of bug, uh, or mosquitoes. I'm not sure. Um, so this is great. This is also part of the IDW original, just like the Dark Spaces. And Scott Brian Wilson did a very cool um, miniseries called True Cult with IDW Originals, one of the very first ones last year. And now he's coming with this one. If you don't know the story very quickly, it's the town of Colonia and the city of Colonia. And it's very run down. The economy is falling down. It's like, but police suspect that there's more to it than just like the economy and politics and all that. And they start to wonder why there's so many homicides, and they start to follow a trail, and that leads them to think that there's a group of serial killers or murderers that move to the town and taking advantage of what's happening in the city to kind of hide their murders. So it's a very cool thriller, and I love that Max Allan Hicks, he does the interiors, but he does the cover A's, and they're all like a face, like a portrait, like this, and they're all very, very disturbing and cool at the same time, like this one. So let's continue with the next one. Talk about disturbing.
Yes. So next one is Canary. I think I chose two covers actually because I couldn't
Yeah, that's on the
decide.
next slide.
Yeah, and this cover is by Dan Panosian. I just picked it because it's scary. I really like the mouth. Do I really like it? I don't like the
It's
mouth
it's
because it's so
surprising to
scary.
me, because
Yeah.
when you and I talk about horror and all that, I don't get the vibe that you love horror, but every once in a while you like to pick covers like this. I mean, not like a fan of horror. I mean, it's not that you don't like it, but it's interesting to me that you pick many times you have picked things like this, which is great. I mean, I
I
love
think for me
it.
though, it's I do like horror, probably not as much as like you do or some like in that way, but
Yeah.
I like it when it like truly scares me. Like if I'm gonna go into it and subject myself to scary things, it
Yeah,
better
yeah,
scare me. So this cover really does that because it's hella creepy. With like especially the jaw and the mouth. It's like
yeah.
so gritty. I love it. That's all I really had to say. It just scares me. That's why I like it.
All right, and let's look at the next one, which is also part of the Canary. Sorry.
Yeah, so this is like my a different reaction that I had. This is Jill Thompson. This is a 1 in 25. And I like it because of how beautiful it is. Like you have the
Yeah,
gruesome and the beautiful. I like that like the ground itself is like there's nothing. It's like white space, but then you have like boards that is very, very not steady at all.
yeah,
He's gonna fall through. But then you have these like hands like looming down below. It really like calls back to the story where you have like this horror western lore type of like merging and blending of these two like genres, and then you have this haunted cursed mine and this like geologist that is like called to investigate. It's very like it calls me into the story just by looking at the cover alone. So I just thought it was beautiful. It's like it's a contrast to the first one, but they're both beautiful covers. So
yeah. Very cool. So that's it for the Scots in this video, because
mhm.
this was also Scott Snyder. So we had a bunch of Scots on this video, but the next one has no Scott. This is a Scott-free
Scot free.
book. Yeah, this is Star
And we're
Wars.
not talking about Mr. Miracle. Or are
Oh
we?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So exactly. Oh, it would have been great if we had. Yeah. Anyway. So Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, number two, the Rasa variant, and this is by written by Josie Hauser and art by Salvador LaRocca, and it's uh adaptation of the Disney Plus series that came out recently. Uh, but obviously, what we want to talk about on this is that it has Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers on the cover. Come on. That is the main focus of this cover. Obviously, the art by Rosa, as always, very cool, very beautiful. I love the that Flea is in the rain, looking very menacing in the city. I forget what the city was in the series, but it looks very uh like like Hong Kong, then downtown New York, like the very menacing, dark city kind of landscape. Um, and this series, the cool thing also, the I'm talking about not the TV series necessarily, but the series, the comic books, it has a lot of new characters in it. This was one of them, which I hope they use again. Nokru, who kidnapped little Princess Leia, who's also appearing on this series. Princess Leia as a little girl. And it's the series also, and I'm talking about the Disney Plus, included a lot of actors playing a lot of really cool characters. It even has Kumail Nanjiani playing a Jedi. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. But if you don't want to watch it, definitely pick up the comics and read them. And again, it's Flea from the bass player from Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, come on, you got to collect this. And we've seen a lot of this recently with celebrities and music, especially celebrities showing up on covers. This one, it's not like Eminem or who was it, Paul McCartney showing up on a cover, which it's great. But this is more legit because he actually played a Star Wars character, so he has a reason, a valid reason to be on this cover. Okay, all right. So that is it for our picks. And then, as always, we end with a little bit of news. This news came out this week. Seven Seas announced the publication in English of Ballad of Sword and Wine, Qiang Yu. Uh, and this is a light novel, Damne by Tang Qing. I'm just gonna go really quick over what it's about. The historical, obviously, Damne, and it has. I think I'm just gonna read it because I'm sorry about that, but it's a historical novel series. Shen Shuan is the eighth son of a traitorous prince in Qing, a man who doomed his cities and people to destruction at the hands of the foreign enemies. As the only survivor member of his revile line, Shan Xuan is dragged to the capital in the chains. He bears the hatred of the nation, but no one's hate burns hotter than Xiao Qie, the youngest son of a powerful prince of Libei. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of intrigue, and both characters are opposing. They hate each other. They're in opposite ends of what's happening. But I love that at some point in the description said, these two bitter enemies beat against the bonds of their fate. They find themselves kindred spirits, unlikely allies, and perhaps something more. And there it is. Um, so this is very, very cool. These are obviously extremely highly sought out by fans of the genre, and it's the first time, like I said, that it's coming in English. And the illustrator of this is the illustrated the Husky and his wife Cat Shinsu, and also Remnants of Filth. So that's also something to point out. This is not coming until next year in June, but it's a big announcement we wanted to share with you. Make sure you know ahead of time and plan for it. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it and you enjoy our content. If you do, please show it by a thumbs up, a like. And also, like I said at the beginning, um, follow us. We're on social media at PRH International Comics on Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, and YouTube. And we hope you come back and watch some more. Take care. Bye.
Hey everyone.